Yo guys, welcome to the video. This is Josh on Milky, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about another strategy that I've been running in tier 16 maps. We're not quite moving up to T17s yet. I kind of want to figure everything out in T16s before I inevitably go to T17s. We all know how crazy T17s are. That's where a large amount of the money is, but I think T16 is a bit more fun and creative in some aspects. So I want to stay in T16 to try these different things out. And today I wanted to try Ritual. It's a mechanic I have a bit of history with. It's how we got started farming mirrors from the ritual pages, and this league, it got some pretty nice changes. So one of the changes, of course, is that you can now get the audience with the king invitation, which allows you to fight the king in the mists. He will drop the you can drop the jewel that gives you, like the Perandus pack from last league, it gives you stats. Pretty cool. You can also get corpses, omens. There's a lot in there that wasn't there before, but is it enough to make it good? Well, I went in with pretty low expectations. Ritual's been pretty disappointing for me for a long time. It does have that jackpot possibility. You can see there's a lot of divines hanging around in here. You do get a lot of raw divines. I got a couple of enlightens, a few fractured items, and there's always that chance you're going to hit an absolutely GG synth item. Someone who in my chat who was doing it today got a frenzy ring from synth, so there is that chance for a huge pop-off with Ritual. But how is it on average? Well, it is quite a random mechanic, so my sample size may not be the perfect. I did 90 maps of this combination right here. I wanted to use blood-filled vessels, as I haven't used them in a while, and we now have the ability to add a fifth thing to the map device. So this blood-filled vessel slots perfectly in right here. If you don't know how these work, essentially they act as like a scarab, but they cause it so you can't get ritual rewards from the ritual, the splinters, and you can't use the ritual vessel on the rituals whilst you're in there. So it does take away some of your profit if you were filling vessels, because you can no longer doing that. And it also does stop you using the other new scarab, which is the Ritual Scarab of Wisps. This says that Ritual alters in area spawn a Wildwood Wisp. This is essentially a little white ball of light. If you stand near it, all the mobs that you kill whilst near it are going to grant you 70% increased tribute. So very nice, but the tribute differential between the Bloodfilled and this actually wasn't that high for me. This 20% more monsters and you know, monsters spawning faster actually gave me a pretty decent amount of tribute. And of course, you can start with the unique mobs already in there. So the Bloodfilleds worked quite well for me. I ended up getting 10,000 tribute most maps. But obviously you do lose those ritual rewards. So there's two different things you can do with ritual. You can either go with the blood-filled, or you can go with this wisp one and fill the vessels yourself. So you can go in, and when you get a good one, maybe you've got some bosses in it, make sure you click this on the altar. You just take it out of your map, you click it on it, and you'll fill the vessel, and you'll get yourself one of these. And these do sell pretty well. There is a challenge this league. I don't know, maybe if I can search it. I don't know if there's a search feature. There is a ritual challenges league to use blood-filled vessels, so they will hold some value. Also, this is a pretty fun strat, so people may be doing it. They sell about 9 of these or 1 divine right now if you're trying to buy in bulk from any kind of third party. So that's all that out of the way. The Ritual Scarab of Selectiveness allows us to reroll an additional time, and it makes the first 2 rerolls cost nothing, or yeah, the first 2 cost nothing. Using 2 of these means the first 4 rerolls cost nothing, and you get an extra 2 rerolls, which is very nice, as you want to see as many pages as possible to see all that loot, so that you can hopefully hit one of those jackpot items. And then the Ritual Scarab of Abundance, used twice, essentially 3x's the number of items you're going to see in the page. So we're seeing a lot more items, a lot more pages, a lot more opportunities to hit big, and that's what we're after. So we're going to do a map. I'll probably cut it up a bit because they do take a little minute. They're not the fastest maps ever, but we'll go in and I'll show you my basic strategy when I'm running the ritual maps. As for the tree, as always, it will be linked in the Atlas sheet. I will also link it in the description. Everything's always in the description. The filter, my POB, the Atlas sheet, the Atlas tree itself. If you don't want to open the Google Doc, all that, it will be in there. So check that if you need anything in the description. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm on City Square. You don't have to do it on City Square, but it is a pretty good map for this mechanic, as you can run straight to the boss. You would like to preferably do the ritual on the boss first, if it does happen to spawn here, as you're going to get much more tribute. If that's the case, that's because unique mobs give additional tribute because of one of the nodes on the tree. So do check the boss first if you decide to do this in City Square. Doing another map, you're not really going to have that option. There are probably a couple where it's the case, but largely speaking, that's not going to be an option. So we do have a unique mob in here anyway from the ritual vessel itself. And then we're just going to clear on through. The main goal here is just to get as many mobs inside the ritual. That's why we're using like Delirium, because the mobs can be added from Delirium. If you get like a Delirium boss, that can get added, and then you're going to get a lot more tribute. You're going to end up getting tons more items, because it's important to be able to manage your tribute to take out as many things as you can. But we'll get to that when we go to the rewards at the end. 1,300. I would recommend always having 2,000 tribute left after your last reroll, and that is because if you hit a mirror and you don't have enough tribute to defer it, you're going to be very sad. I can say this from personal experience. So don't waste your tribute early on, kind of stuff you're gonna see anyway. Like, you're gonna see other things of the same value. Obviously, having a price checking tool is going to be very good to check whether or not an item has value. This is 90 chaos, 900 tribute. Obviously, I'm going to buy that straight away. 90C for that is an absolute bargain. Then we're going to reroll, check everything out. You get better at this, you'll get faster at this as you go. Obviously, the better your loot filter as well. I'd recommend checking all, you know, fractured items or synth items are definitely worth checking. Jewels, I don't check as much unless they're fractured. And then pay attention to whatever's at the end, because if something has 0 tribute cost, this is basically a node on a tree. So you could in a world get a mirror down here. So if your eyes are just fixed at the top left here where all the good loot is, you could miss that juicy reward at the bottom. So I'm going to keep going. 10C for 5,000 tribute. That's a skip for me. You may be tempted to defer this kind of stuff. Me personally, I try to defer as little as possible. This is contrary to how a lot of people use ritual. I don't like having a lot deferred because I want the freedom to use my tribute as much as I can. My principle is that I'm looking for kind of the big things, the 50C plus things. I don't really want to be wasting all my tribute deferring 10C items. You'll get 10C items for much less tribute than this. I think it's just not worth it. So we keep going. A Conqueror map, 3k. That for me is probably a buy, because it's going to put me at what? 6.3. That's plenty of tribute based on what we spoke about earlier. So I'll absolutely buy that. That's very easy to sell. It's not the most, but it's easy to sell, right? It's like 10 plus C. Again, we'll have a look around. You'll learn what these omens are. These sell pretty well in bulk. You can see in bulk, they're like, what, 5 to a div. So, and even in chaos, 20C each. So you'll know that these do definitely add up. These are really not worth it. Guardian maps are so cheap. Conqueror ones are okay, but Guardian maps, I wouldn't bother. And then we look at the last one. What do we get? 5C, absolutely a take. A fossil, subfusing, and that's all she wrote. That's it. Not the best, not the worst. You know, we got a 90C jewel, a little map. This 20C here. It all adds up, right? So you are going to get a variety of loot. That's what's going to happen with this, but you're also looking for those raw divines and those jackpot items. So what jackpot items can you get? Well, other than the synth stuff, I ended up getting a total of, I think, 35 divines and 10 audiences with the king. This is the new boss fight. I'm not sure if I can sell these in bulk, but individually they sell for about 60C. It looks like if someone wanted to buy 10, let's just pretend. Yeah, they're about 2/3 of a div in bulk apparently, but you know, maybe half a div, you could say. So 5 divs in that. We're already at 40 div. And then obviously like random other stuff, maps, omens. I think I got an omen of connections in here. I ended up getting 2 of these. I've sold one of them, but this is a guaranteed 6 link, which is about 2.5 divines. So very, very good. A lot of cool stuff that you can get, and we'll see what the returns were like. So we come in, we used a 180 abundant scarabs, which was 16 points C per map, totaling 2,988 chaos. A massive, massive investment on those. Selectiveness was only 5C each, so that's 900 chaos. And then the bloodfields were also the same as the abundance, about 1 to 9 divines. So the bloodfield are just more annoying to get a hold of. Individually, you'll be able to get them extremely cheap, but if you're trying to buy them in bulk, it's going to be difficult unless you're using like a third party. So we have a wealthy exile tab value of 97. I'm very aware that this is obviously including a lot of nonsense, but it's what we have to go on, right? I try to filter out things that I'm not going to sell. Realistically speaking, it probably evens out because a lot of these things that it's factoring aren't bulked up. You're going to be able to sell the scarabs and everything much better in bulk. Same with your T17 maps and all that. So we'll call it evens, right? Like you're going to be able to sell these for much more than 40C in bulk. And the same with other things, like the audience with the king, for example. We saw that was 2/3 of a div in bulk, and right here it's counting it as 60C. So I'll say it all adds up. We'll do some manipulation. It's probably about right, you know, with stuff you're gonna sell, about 97. Now you could probably average about 10 maps an hour doing this. I did that, and I was being very sluggy. I was AFK so much, just memeing around with chat or in the King's March. So if you're absolutely blasting, you can definitely go faster than that. But even with that, we averaged about 7 divines an hour, which is nothing too shabby, but in this day and age, it's not the best. Maybe this league, it is quite good. Who knows? Obviously, the divines per hour and all that, it's kind of subjective because maybe you can't play as much or you have to take breaks and stuff. So what's the profit per map on average is probably a better thing. And it was about 0.7 divines per map profit based on my very small sample size of 90 maps. Bear that in mind, 90 maps is not a huge amount for a strategy that has as much variance as Ritual, but it is extremely fun. I like going through the pages. It's fun to hit those jackpot items. The maps are juicy. The only annoying part is buying the blood-filled vessels, but you don't have to do that because alternatively, you could just run with the other scarab, the Scarab of Wisps. Forget the blood-filled vessel, and you can fill vessels yourself. Right now, these ritual vessels are, what, like 5C each? How much can you buy? What about in bulk? Let's have a look. So if we go up to 20C, 20 stock, how much do you have to pay for them? The 12 to a div in bulk, and then you can sell the blood-filled vessels for 9 for a div. So there's a bit of profit to be made there as well, and you will get pretty similar rewards, I imagine. Like the 20% greater, better favor rewards doesn't seem all that good. I did do a few maps with Wisps before this, about 50 or so, and it didn't seem too much better. So yeah, first test of the league, very fun, very rambly video. I like to talk. I hope you enjoy listening to me do so. If not, you're probably not watching anymore. But if you are still watching, thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope you have fun doing this strategy.